We have got the best way to get you in the mood for the great race, kicking off tomorrow at 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on 7 Mate. Neil Crompton catches up with the legends of the sport in the Shannon's Legends of Motorsport Marathon. It covers the last 50 years of Bathurst. And then don't forget, switch over to 7 for all the live action of the 2014 Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000. We start at 7 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's tomorrow on 7. It's a great Saturday at Bathurst. Plenty of colour and good times everywhere. The top 10 shootout not too far away, don't forget. But first, it's time for the V8 Utes. Race 2. Here's Jason Bargwana and Chad Naylor.
Nice one, Brett. And star-studded lineup like it always is in the V8 Utes, fueled by Hog's Breath Cafe. That front row is David Cedars and Elliot Barber. The news today was that Cedars, in that fight for the championship with Chris Walton, got absolutely punted off the road by a very naughty boy, the defending champ, Roel Harris. And as a result, the reigning champ has been relegated a few spots for that one, and Cedars got himself inside the invert to find the front row once again. But he's there alongside Elliot Barber, former teammates those guys, George Miedeke, Nathan Pretty off the second row. Bargs, let's let these guys loose at the mountain.
Oh, it was a great race this morning. It was a battle right through the field. It was that mistake that cost Roel Harris, but here we go, red light.
Coincidentally, it was Reece McNally that took out that race win from Chris Walton. As we go racing. Somebody slow to jump on the back, but the yellow flags have been withdrawn, which means we're off and running, and Cedars has got a very nice start and is going to hold on to that race lead maybe, but Barber has actually got a pretty good run up the outside there.
Oh, there we go. They don't disappoint, do they? So first corner, we've got that bit of contact. Elliot Barber on the outside, now getting pushed up the hill by Nathan Pretty. He's going to find himself in the best position. There's George Miedeke on the outside. It's
a Holden 1, 2, 3 up mountain straight. Cedars will be fuming with that one. Contact, and he drops back all the way to 5th. He'll have the inside line at the approach to turn 2. Brakes and tyres squealing and locking.
Oh, Barber's gone wide.
Extremely wide. That opens up the door for Nathan Pretty. At the approach to the cutting, they're leaning on each other. Teammates, Miedeke's in there. This is going to boil over. They're all leaning on one another as we climb the hill for the first time. The GoPro Ute, after celebrating 100 starts in the series earlier today, former 24-hour winner at this very venue, and plenty of Bathurst 1000 stuff. Oh, there goes Jeremy Gray. He's clouted that wall. Ooh, watch your arm.
That's a big slap into the wall. Coming out the top of the cutting here, if you find yourself...
Peter Burnett nearly clobbered him too. Hopefully he can keep this going, Bargs, and maybe he'll be able to pull over to the left when we won't have a safety car, hopefully.
Hopefully avoid that safety car. If you find yourself over that crest in the wrong spot, you just got to hang on and bang Grays in the fence. But have a look how hard these guys are pushing. Tyre pressures aren't up to temperature just yet. Tyres aren't temperature or pressure, so you can see that there's little mistakes that Barber's making is giving him George Miedeke a chance.
Let's see what Walton is. He hasn't jumped up too many just yet. He doesn't need to. He knows that the championship picture's looking pretty good for him right now, especially now that Cedars has been really... Speak of the devil. There he goes. The
attack straight away.
He was the quickest in qualifying, but got relegated for a little part for May incident. Back to the second row, and he's looking to make up a few more spots. He got gifted second position in the first race. The Stratco Ute there, 6th in line. That's winner of race number 1 today. He's made up a few spots nice and early. Reece McNally, the West Aussie, on a charge, but it's Holden, all the way to the front, all the way through the kink. And Elliot Barber, if he's go back-to-back in the reverse grid races.
So it's good to see Elliot Barber have his first win down in Sandown. Dontas using all the road down through the chase and down the inside of Woodbury there. So you can see these pass manoeuvres going on right through the field, but Elliot Barber now under pressure from George Miedeke. Pretty, he's just sitting back waiting for this to happen. Cedars on the wrong end of that incident this morning with Roel Harris, so he's now obviously been relegated back to 4th, but who knows, he could end up in getting some luck in this one.
First luck complete, that was exciting. Somehow we bring the majority of the field back to complete another one as well. As the Just Car Insurance Ute is leading the way, but the Wake Up I-Seat Ute, Warren Millett owned, George Miedeke driven. Entry's looking very menacing up the hill. Didn't get such a good run out of turn number 1 then, it kind of ruined any good chance of a move happening down at turn 2, and may even open up the door for Nathan Pretty. Ryan Hanford looks to be going up the inside of McNally, or at least defending from McNally.
Pretty has a little bit of a look up the inside there. Ryan Hansford under pressure, so trying to play it smart here. This morning was a bit of action, and we got a replay of the start here.
We can have a replay. Oh, Cedars was very close to jumping the start there. I've got the judge and jury standing next to me for V8 Supercars. What do you think of that one?
Might have to go to the replay on that one, but it certainly looked like those front wheels were over the line. They have a judge of fact up there at the start. Here's a bit more contact.
Now it's the IXL ute that ended up in the fence later on. He goes up the back of Andrew Fisher doing double duties in both the NZTCM cars this weekend. Marjorum's on the outside, and Jeremy Gray is about to eat some fence here. Oh, it was a slow death, wasn't it? Oh.
So you just find yourself, one of the problems, and I've been talking a lot of V8 supercar guys, you can see this contact there, Gray bang into the fence. Would have bent the front suspension and the rear suspension, so he just managed to get that car out of the way. One of the problems they're finding is if they're slightly offline,
like that,
anywhere, the cars just lose grip very quickly. So it's a common thing right throughout all the categories here this weekend. Disappointing
because he had a fairly good weekend at Sandown, did Jerry Gray. It's not going to repeat for him today. Over the top of the mountain we go, and there is the IXL ute with a fair bit of damage down the left-hand side. They're going to try and get that thing back out there. And that is fraught with danger. He's at the back of the pack now, well and truly. Elliot Barber still leading, trying to go back-to-back with these reverse grid races after a win at Sandown. Miedeke, it's been a while for him since making his return to the series. He's been fairly luckless, I'd say, so far this year, since coming back. There's a lot of... They are racing over in the USA as we go flying through the kink.
They are motoring through there. Oh, there goes Chris Walton.
Chris Walton's going to do a bit of Denny Ute-Muster-style bush bashing. Jesse Dixon goes with him for sympathy, and he comes right over on Kim Jane, who won a couple of races here last year. Nephew of the famous Bob Jane, who had such a great success. Oh, no, the leader's off. The Just Car Insurance ute potentially overcooking it. Or was there someone else involved with that one? And he's going to go all the way back down where Dixon is, back in about 8th or 9th. Disappointment for Barber. Fisher wants to send him back one more spot. He's up the inside in the Jesus Racing ute. Deary dear.
0 to 0 there. He's come into the last corner, locked the rear brakes a little, and you can hear the tyre squeal just as we were paying attention to Jesse Dixon and Kim Jane trying to kill each other at the back. So Elliot Barber, he's gone from that potential race win. He had that first one at Sandown, and I don't think he's going to win this one now with that little mistake.
Saw George Miedeke running in the Dunlop Series last year as Walton and Jane make contact, and now we see Marjorum up the inside of Fisher. We're on board with Andrew Fisher right now as we ride up towards the cutting, and Marjorum's quite clever there. He decides to get out of it. He's fighting for 10th position at the moment. Oh, a bit of a switchback to get that move done before he got to the cutting. Nearly, it's actually Harris who snuck up there as well.
Chad, it's always a real difficult thing when you go up that part of the circuit. 2 cars wide, it narrows so quick when you're 1 car. When you're 2 cars wide, you start looking at fence very quickly. But he's on board there with Elliot Barber. Just got those rears locked.
Miedeke says, thank you very much. Elliot Barber off. Fighting now for a long way back. He's back in 9th. There are the leaders, and Miedeke leading it from Nathan Pretty. Cedars trying to resurrect his championship charge. Can he fight his way through for a win? Well, we'll find out on the other side of this short break. A quick one from the mountain. It's on at the front, and it's going to be on later with a top 10 shootout live on 7 for the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000, who will be starting tomorrow's great race from pole position. We'll find out very, very shortly. Good race going on right now with Nathan Pretty. Now at the point of this race, he's managed to wrestle the lead of George Madecki, and this is how he managed to do it. Pretty epic fight here, Jason, as they went side by side for about 4 corners. Well, this started at the end of Conrod Straight, actually down at the chase, side by side, all the way to the end of Mountain Straight, and Nathan Pretty got the job done. Very nice move. So Pretty now moves to the point, and this guy's day gets worse and worse. His season gets worse and worse. Oh, Craig Dontis not too happy with the thirsty camel door as he slams the door shut on any hopes of finishing this year off strongly. He's still got a few more rounds in which to finish it off in the Ute Series as we go to the next 2 big rounds. We're going to be at Sydney for the finale and also on the Gold Coast. Well, it's been a dramatic afternoon in V8 land. Let's catch up with the latest with Rihanna, who's down there with JC.
James Courtney, we are on air. You were potentially going to be in the top 10 shootout. You are now not going to be in the top 10 shootout. There was lots of talk about potential protests that were possibly going to occur. How are you feeling at this point?
Yeah, I start 10th, so it's the biggest disappointment is we're missing car 2. So those guys, the whole team put in crazy amount of hours, and to have the car be pulled out just through too much damage this morning. So that's the biggest blow that we've had. It would have been cool. It's it's a top 10 shootout at Bathurst. Everyone wants to do it. It's an amazing lap. You get the track to yourself, fresh set of tyres, and get to tighten up the belt and see how you go. So yeah, I'm gutted. I dealt with this disappointment yesterday when we didn't make it in, but it would have been when that little bit of hope come. Sure, I got a little excited, but yeah, upset again. So I suppose I'm reliving the disappointment of yesterday. But look, it's there's 1,000 Ks to go, Rihanna. You know what goes on over this over tomorrow, and qualifying really is irrelevant to what goes on tomorrow. So it's it's more just a bit of fun for us, ego boost, and to show off. But looks like we're gonna have to show off tomorrow.
Thanks, James.
Cheers.
We'll be back. Don't you worry about that. And HRT, what a day it's been for them. I'll start from 10th with one of the cars, and the other one will be, unfortunately, in the Transporter, taking no further part in this race weekend. You know what it's like to miss the big one.
I've done that once in my life, but I would never want to do that again. It's a terrible feeling, I can assure you. Obviously, Warren and Craig had that big accident. It's good to see Craig's car will be out there, but HRT car number 2 won't be. But the action back on track here. Chris Walton's got them all locked up.
At the very corner which we were just talking about.
He's been just picking him off, Chris Walton. He's just one at a two at a time, working his way to the front. He's now back on the rear tailgate of David Cedars, which is great to see with this championship battle. Hasn't it been a controlled season from Chris Walton? He's really come of age, former Rookie of the Year, now leading our Ute Charge both here and in New Zealand, by the way, with a recent win in the final round that they just had. Another 2 rounds to complete over there. Nice stuff, boys, as we go flying through the kink, but he hasn't been the reckless Chris Walton that we're used to seeing in the last few seasons. No, he's really been driving well this year. He's certainly been one of the forefront. Pole position, obviously, at Sandown. He's had race wins on the podium. He's certainly been the man to beat this year in the Ute Series, but we've got some action at the back there. There's dust, there's dirt, there's cars. Oh. And Spud, what is it? With major damage to the left front, and surely there's going to be another car involved in all this, or he's bounced off the wall, which Paul Radicic hit many moons ago. It's in a safe position there, so hopefully they don't have to pull a safety car for that one, but bit of contact at the back of the chase. When you come out of there, it looks like he might have done this one all by himself, I'd say. So let's find out what's happening here. Big slide in the Battery World Ute, and he's not going to get it stopped at the exit here, and he's heading exactly to where the rat went in. Well, not quite, because that wall has been changed since the old days. Just have to realign the tray on that one. The back section's, I think, out of whack, as is the front wheel. You can see Chris Walton now. He's starting to put some pressure on Cedars, who the field's just settled down a little bit. Everyone's tyre pressure's about right. They're understanding where they're at. Nathan Pretty out front. He had that great little battle with George Madecki. They went side by side from the start of the chase all the way down to the bottom of the circuit, through the start-finish line, all the way up the end of Mountain Straight. It was great to see. Good racing. Gave each other room. I think they touched once, and it was and Nathan Pretty got up, and that's where he's now pulling away. This drive from Walton should be good enough to see him start off the front row for the final of their races tomorrow. Kim Jane there, winner of 2 races here last year. Nathan Pretty's already won himself a reverse grid race so far this year, and if he can hold on to this one, or at least the man in second take the win, for the first time since this event last year, where Holden have won 2 races in the same weekend. They've had a tough run, the Holdens, in this series, but they're starting to put their foot back down
on this championship. But it still fairly favours the Fords so far this year, more than double the wins of the Holdens, as we dive for the final time today with the Utes down through the dipper. And I wonder if Walton's going to be thinking about a move, because the guy in front of him, second in the points, and he's looking up the inside.
Oh, no, we've got contact now!
Hang on to it, Cedars, he does, Hanson to the outside. He was in the podium here last year. If Cedars got turned around twice in the one weekend here, I don't think he'd show up tomorrow.
Well, it's a risk that Chris Walton just should not have taken then. I mean, it's a situation with this championship where he doesn't need to be getting a penalty.
Oh.
And it's Ryan Hampson's going to take the most of this opportunity, because he's now put himself in the position side by side through the chase. This is going to be exciting stuff.
Hold your breath, McNally, slide. Everyone's got him locked up. James in there, he's up the inside of Walton. Cedars looks like he might just hang on for third. The Stratco Ute side by side with Walton, and he's going to go flying back onto the circuit. Good driving to be able to gather that back up.
Left and right, they're going all over the place. There's Roll Harris in the background as well. He wants part of the action, but it's all Nathan Prenny. He's going to get the win here on the mountain.
What a finish. Look at this 5 for 4th. Jane does a bit of bush bashing. He flies back in the direction of Jesse Dixon. Adam Mardrum had the best view watching that unfold in front of him. That was completely crazy. And listen to this crowd around the mountain. They absolutely lapped that up. Special stuff. And Nathan Prenny back where he wants to be at the front of the field, celebrating the new release of the GoPro and also celebrating the launch of the advertising campaign for Clipsal 500 next year as well. That was exciting stuff. Andrew Fisher brings it back in. It's Pretty who will take out race number 2 from George Miedicke. Cedars, who did a great job to hang on to that car in the going through Forest Elbow.
Well, second to 10th is covered by 2 seconds, so that's an amazing finish there. Ryan Hanson did a great job. McNally, Chris Walton, Kim Jane, obviously Jesse Dixon hanging on there. Roll Harris from 19th on the grid, but it was Elliot Barber who, that early leader, made that mistake and ended up in the top 10.
He paid the price. Speaking of the top 10 shootout is not too far away. If you're wondering where the money is being spent right now, well, it's time to check out those odds and the current prices thanks to TatsBet.
Good afternoon. It's so exciting to be here for the biggest weekend in Australian motorsport, the Bathurst 1000. I can't wait for tomorrow's race, but before we get there, let's have a look at the market for today's top 10 shootout. With a cooler track expected, conditions will be perfect for the drivers to complete their one-lap dash. Shootout specialist and Ford star Mark Winterbottom tops the market, though the likes of Fabian Coulthard and Shane van Gisbergen offer real value. Provisional pole sitter and current lap record holder Coulthard can't be dismissed. Punters cleaned up on our Holden special at Sandown, so we're back with another ripper this time, but it's for the fans of the other manufacturers. We're offering the inflated price of $6 for any manufacturer except Holden to take out tomorrow's race. How good is that? To take up this offer and to check out the massive range of markets we have available for tomorrow's Bathurst 1000, simply download the Tats app or visit tatsbet.com. Enjoy the top 10 shootout today, and don't forget, gamble responsibly.